Now, let's move on to social responsibility of business. A brief overview about business is that business is not what it used to be. There's no doubt about that. It is undergoing significant transformations as a result of major social forces, such as technological advancements, globalization, and so on. In this modern era, society is expecting much more from business than in the past. Business firms are no longer considered commercial entities. Instead, they are now socio-economic institutions whose primary purpose is not to make a profit. A business is an entity that seeks to profit. It wouldn't survive without it. But the concept of profitability has been changed. Now, profit in the form of goodwill, creditability, and societal confidence is now more beneficial than profit in the form of money or return on investment. The reputation of an organization is based on customer service and satisfaction, and a company's long-term survival is possible when it does what is beneficial to society and in the best interest of its customers. Corporate social responsibility or CSR is not a new buzzword. Employees, clients, partners, shareholders, and the environment are all influenced by an organization. CSR events and services have become an important part of many organizations' objectives. So, Kit Device defines social responsibility as social responsibilities refer to businessmen's decisions and actions taken for reasons at least partially beyond the firm's direct economic or technical interest. Thus, social responsibility is an obligation of decision makers to take actions that protect and improve the welfare of society as a whole, as well as their own. Management guru Peter Drucker stated the relationship between organization and society in his book Practice of Management is like the relationship between a ship and the sea, which ingrades it and carries, which threatens it with storms and shipwreck, which has to be crossed, but which is yet alien and distant, the environment rather than the home of the ship. But society is not just the environment of the enterprise. Even the most private of private enterprises is an organ of society and serves a social function. In our society, management is responsible not only for the enterprise itself, but also for management's public standing, success, and status, as well as for the future of our economy and social system and the survival of the enterprise as an autonomous institution. L.N. Prasad in Principle and Practices of Management gave an operational definition of social responsibility. Social responsibility contends that management is responsible to the organization itself, and to all the interest groups with which it interacts, other interest groups such as workers, customers, creditors, suppliers, government, society in general are placed essentially equal with shareholders. Extracts from a speech by Mr. Mukesh Ambani published in Times of India. He expressed his views based upon his own practical experiences on the relationship between business and society. Business in our culture is not merely an activity for individual profit. In the Indian milieu, a business person is a custodian of the vital interest of society. Mahatma Gandhi articulated this view in his inimitable way. He called on business leaders to consider themselves as trustees of society's wealth. Given this background, the concept of social partnership comes naturally to us. For a corporation must understand that The time and resources thus invested and the professional expertise shared with the nation comes back to the corporation in the long run as expected dividends of reputations, opportunity, and acceptance. Why business should be socially responsible? A common question regarding why businessmen should be socially responsible. What visible and invisible benefits will they derive from being socially responsible? What differences will they make with those who are socially irresponsible? Some genuine reasons are as follows. First, long-term survival. If a company wants to survive in the long run, it must build a loyal brand of customers, repeat customers, and so on. Assume that if they cause harm to society through their irresponsible behavior, society will not allow them to end up living in the future. Next, public expectation. Aside from quality products, fair prices, and good services, the general public expects certain behaviors from organizations. They should not disrupt any societal equilibrium when conducting business, such as pollution, crimes, corruption. Third, goodwill. As we all know, goodwill cannot be begged or borrowed, it must be earned, and this will occur when organizations recognize and fulfill their social responsibilities. Fourth, government laws and regulations. Sometimes the government laws and regulations compel businesses to act in a socially responsible manner in order to survive in the long run. Fifth, better environment to operate. If an organization can improve the quality of life of its customers, try to integrate private and public good, and focus on solving a specific societal problem, it will automatically be better able to solve its own problem and operate in a better environment. Lastly, keep the balance, give and take relationship. In society, there are business organizations that exist and operate. It owes something to society because it takes so much from it. When businessmen recognize that they are social entities that would not exist without the approval of society, they accept their societal responsibilities and strive to fulfill them. Okay, next, social responsibilities models. The interlinked ages of business and society by system approach. So as shown in the diagram, business is a component of a larger social system. Any business takes inputs from society, thus its processing and provides the outputs to the same society. As a result, the outputs must be both acceptable and desirable to the society, and the mutual understanding and interactions between society and business must be extremely strong. Business makes a significant contribution to society and vice versa. So if the processing outputs do not meet society's expectations, some pre-planning is needed before the desired outcomes are achieved. As a result, they argue that business should be classified as a social entity rather than economic one. Some great men have built models to help us understand social responsibility on a technical level to help us understand every aspect of social responsibility. Some of them will be presented. So first, Ackerman's model of social responsibility. Ackerman insists and suggests that the basic goal of any corporate entity should be social responsiveness. When firm decides to be social responsible, it has to pass some developing stages like awareness stage, planning and action stage, and implementation stage. So first, awareness stage. where the top management must recognize the social problem. In the planning and action stage, the company must appoint staff specialists to look into the issue and find measures to tackle it. And pag abot na sa implementation stage, mauna ni ang implementation of the strategy derived from the specialist. Next is Carroll's model of social responsibility. According to Carroll's, there are 4 categories of social responsibilities of business. So first, economic responsibilities. Any business's basic and primary responsibility is to be economically sound, producing goods and services to meet society's needs and desires while making a profit by selling them. Next is legal responsibilities. Any business entity is required to act within the confines of the law and legal framework. These are referred to as legal responsibilities. Next is ethical responsibilities. As the distinction between ethics and laws was already explained in the preceding chapter, being ethically responsible here means acting in accordance with societal expectations, which may or may not be codified in law. Lastly, discretionary responsibilities. Discretionary responsibilities are a step forward from ethical responsibilities, in which businesses engage in voluntary actions to benefit society. Society will not demand discretionary responsiveness, rather it is the firm's willingness to contribute something to society's well-being. Next is approaches to social responsibility. Jean Borton and Manab Thakur have provided some social responsibilities strategies which explained a ladder of a degree of social responsibility. So first, social opposition. It is referred to as social opposition when a business opposes society by feeling or displaying no obligations to it. If they are caught while engaging in an unethical act, they protect themselves by denying it or engaging in other practices such as bribery. The second one, social obligation. Firms in this category believe that because they are part of society, it is their responsibility to conduct business within the legal framework. Next is social response. In this degree, firms do little more than fulfill social obligations. They recognize that simply meeting legal requirements is insufficient at this time. As a result, they go above and beyond in terms of business ethics. Lastly is social contribution. This category includes businesses that contribute to social development. It is the highest rung on the social responsiveness ladder. They conduct their business with complete dedication and commitment to the society.